Hi, my name is Corey.hassman, and thank you for tuning into my video. Today, I just wanted to be able to go over a couple of tips for buyers moving into 2021. As interest rates begin to rise every day, it's important to be able to distinguish between the properties you have a very large interest in. Having an approved letter for the number that you're looking to be able to spend is also very important so that you're not wasting your own time when you go to open houses and you go on different showings. As different properties from a seller's market begin to shift into a buyer's market in this upcoming year, the advantage for buyers is going to be able to take a turn. We're going to be able to see a lot more availability and variety for buyers in the market. Whereas this past summer and year, beginning with the pandemic, sellers were able to have a larger advantage in terms of an asking price and purchase prices thereafter that were much larger than what they were originally asking for. When you go to open houses and you go to showings, it's important to ask three things right off the bat. One, how many other offers were sent in? Two, things like the roof, grading, and other things with the home are important to ask so that you don't come into a situation where there's a lot more tedious things to handle come going under contract. The next thing that's important to ask is if they're willing to waive an inspection or appraisal so that you can have a good idea of where your number with finances lie come going under contract. I've sent in many offers for clients, specifically in South Jersey in this past year. And what I've realized is it's become such a bargaining war and competitive war for being able to have your offer stand out. Certain things, such as waiving an inspection or an appraisal, seem to be very enticing for sellers and their agents. They realize that some of the time, they did not need to go ahead and fix whatever it may have been that was in a repair from a conventional standpoint. Now, we know for FHA appraisals that number has to be met in order for the transaction to move forward successfully. But what some agents don't understand or realize right off the bat is if they don't move towards that number, okay, an FHA appraisal sticks to the property in New Jersey for a year. When that agent or that seller would like to go put that home back on the market after not meeting what an FHA appraiser had noted, every other agent and client after that point in time will realize that there was an FHA appraisal done and can be able to see the number through the public records effectively. Now, you can use this as a bargaining chip or an advantage for leverage when you realize that you have an FHA appraisal done that meets a number less than the number you went under contract for. For instance, if you go under a contract for a property with a price at $250,000, but the appraiser comes in and says, this repair needs to be done, and what we see now is it should be at $235,000. In order for the transaction to go through, as I noted, the seller needs to be able to come down and agree to $235,000 in order for it to move forward. Now, if they do not, like I just previously noted, it goes back on the market where everyone can see for the next year that this FHA appraisal was done and the number that they had noted it being at. Now, conventional is somewhat different in the sense that you can either negotiate to be able to have that number move down, or they can decide to put it back up on the market and see if there's any other offers that come in that may meet their standards a little bit differently. As we move forward in this upcoming year, try to take these tips into account when you're going to open houses, when you're going on showings with various agents, so that you're able to understand when conversations come about, where they're at, so that you're not confused or feel as though you're not a part of the process just as much as they are. Because remember, this is the biggest decision you could possibly make in your life. So when you're able to understand the process a little bit better, you're then able to have a little bit more of an advantage come the time negotiating goes about. Now, if there are any other questions you have pertaining to this, or you would like me to make another video for buyer's tips or seller's tips thereafter, please feel free to give me an email so that I can then go about making that video. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope to talk to you soon.